Hello there, my friends. It's good to be with you. Salamun alaikum. Yeah, I just want to respond to a video that I made a week or so ago. The title of the video was The Final Kill Shot to Hadith. And understandably, some of you are very, very upset, unhappy with the video. Most of the people on this channel, obviously, they see the point. They understand the arguments. But there are people who see this video, see it as an attack on their sacred beliefs, see it as an attack on the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam, see it as an attack on Islam, and they conflate their beliefs with what Islam is. Now, their beliefs, obviously, they get from their teachers, from their priests. And so their worldview, their understanding is that if Anwar attacks what I've been taught in madrasa, then Anwar is attacking Islam, Anwar is attacking the Prophet, Anwar is attacking God, And then that is the logic, that is how they react. So I want to respond to that. I just want to say to them, look, if that is your methodology of defending your belief, then you are not going to be successful. Because you cannot defend any belief by invoking authority, by invoking a man, invoking your teacher, invoking a tradition. First of all, that does not hold even for the Qur'an, because the Qur'an go and read the Qur'an. I don't think you've read the Qur'an. Go and read it and you'll see how many times the Qur'an says, obey Allah, ati'ullah wa ati'ur Rasul. Yes, that is there. But how many times the Qur'an says, do not follow the ancestors. Do not use what your ancestors did as an excuse to maintain your present beliefs. And when you tell me that you believe in the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam, the Prophet passed away 1400 years ago. If you want to obey him, you had to obey him that time. What you are obeying now are the words that appear, that are ascribed to him, that appear in Hadith books. These Hadith books do not even date back to the Prophet Muhammad. Go and see what is the oldest copy of Bukhari. I think it's a few hundred years old. Honestly, go and do the homework. Go and see how old is the book of Bukhari. Now, even notwithstanding that Bukhari does not date back to the Prophet himself. So the point I'm trying to make is that if I'm criticizing the Hadith, I'm not disrespecting the Prophet. I believe that the Prophet authorized, handed down, and certified a body of written material which he certified. And that body of written material is what he accumulated over a period of 23 years. And that body of material is the veritable Word of God in the Qur'an. Now, if he had any other wasiyah, any other instructions, any other will that he wanted to leave to us, he would have done that in the form of a written and signed document, witnessed, attested to by two people. Now, if you say no, but this Bukhari is attested to, I don't think you've listened to my argument. The Khabar Ahad, which I mentioned in that video, means that only one person narrates that. And in that video, I also mentioned that there are contradictions within those hadiths. Now, I don't think you've responded to the arguments. What you've done is the following. You've been angry and you gave me an angry response. That's all you did. One of you said, just in one line, you are a kafir. Now, that doesn't convince me. It doesn't convince anyone else. It is just a visceral response. It's just it's like a bark. It's like a dog that barks. And nobody is convinced by a dog that barks. At best, we beat him away with a stick. Or some people even point at him and say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. You just say, gone with you, shaitan. So a silly, visceral response like that is not deserving of any serious response. But there are others that gave somewhat better responses. There's the one of you that said that, yes, this is a colonial project. I'm actually doing the work of Western colonialism. I'm advancing liberal Western colonial values. Now, I think even that now, you're talking through your neck. I don't think you know what you're talking about. I don't think you've read my work. I don't think you've read my thesis against colonialism. I don't think you've looked at my biography, that I've been to jail to fight against colonialism in this country. That this country is where it is. It has taken Israel to the International Court of Justice because it is detached itself from American colonialism to a large extent. Not completely, but we are. Now you show me, if you can show me a Sunni country that follows the noble hadiths that have also gone to the International Court of Justice, maybe I'll listen to you. But I think your argument is just completely hollow. It doesn't tally with me, doesn't tally with the facts, it doesn't tally with South Africa as a country, that we are definitely not a Western colony. We are beholden to the West. We are economically maybe held down by the West. But culturally, I think we are fairly free to some extent from the West. Right. Some of you said that you actually, the Hadith says you must follow the Prophet, you must obey the Prophet. You can't use circular reasoning. When you say that I must obey the Hadith books, you need to be, what you are telling me is that I need to adopt something that has divine value. In other words, something I need to push everything away and accept that one thing. You see, you are telling me there's the Qur'an, you accept that. Now here's these other books, you need to accept those also. Now, if somebody makes such a extreme and a grand and a profound request or demand from me, I am going to be rigid about proof. You cannot tell me accept this as godly or as divine, but don't ask for proof. No, I want proof. I demanded proof that the Qur'an is divine, and I was capable and able for myself to receive that proof. The lack of contradiction, the timelessness, the fact that it is a clearly a text that is independent from the Prophet's personal emotions and interests, and you could argue that here and there, but largely it is a text that does not flatter the Prophet on every page. In fact, I hardly find anywhere where it flatters the Prophet. And if you read any autobiography, any author's work, there is always flattery for the author. And this is a book that clearly shows all of this. Besides the scientific correspondence to my knowledge of science, and I know science. I'm a science graduate. I know mathematics. I know science. I know astronomy. And I can tell you, there's no way that the Quran at any place contradicts the realities that we know in science. Unless you're a fool and you believe that the Quran says that the sun goes into a dam at night, and you have no place in your small mind for sort of figurative speech. All right. So let me come to you in closing. What I see, and this is the sad conclusion that I have to draw, and that is that what I see in those Zionists, those dogmatic Zionists that are defending Israel no matter what, even though the whole world has woken up to the crimes of Israel, to the crimes of the colonization of Israel, of the brainwashing of Israel. The whole world is literally woken up except those dogmatic and die-hard Zionists. And what I see from them, when you look at them, all you see is rhetoric. You see fear-mongering. You see anger. You see selective morality. You see out of context arguments. You see emotion. All of those that you see there, that package that you see with these Zionists coming across when you look at social media, when you look at them speaking on the mainstream media, is all of this deception and this kind of pulling the wool over people's eyes. That same methods and tactics is what I see from you when you can't give me a proper intellectual response. Then I see you as trapped in that same old place. My brothers, this is a sincere appeal. If it is not proven, if it is not based on what is truly divine text, if it is not based on a truly sound, reasoned argument, if it is not based on what you can ascertain from empirical or other evidence, then it is not knowledge, then it is not fact, and you cannot claim it as fact. Knowledge is something that is based on something that is proven, that is arguable, that has a basis in the holy divine text or a basis in any other form of robust, rigid reasoning based on what is factual.